Hey everybody, it's Gomledex, and welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and today we're going to be playing another quick draft of Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, which is my favorite draft format on Arena. So without further ado, let's just get into the draft. We have a super sweet opening pack here with several viable ways to go. Our rare, the Ryu Storm's Edge, is the strongest card for the red-white Samurai/Warrior deck, although I'm not a very big fan of that deck because the abilities forcing you to attack with just one creature each combat is a bit awkward for a deck that wants to be really aggressive, and I just don't find that a lot of the Samurai cards at common and uncommon are super powerful. You could still definitely go for it when you open up the strongest card for the archetype like Ryu, but I don't think that's what I'm going to go with here. There are two other excellent options, one being Dockside Chef for any black deck in the format, letting us sacrifice artifacts or creatures to draw a card, and Jukai Naturalist, an incredible card for the green-white enchantments deck. I think these are the three best cards in the pack that you would be super safe to pack one, pick one. And I'm going to go with Jukai Naturalist. I just really like the green-white enchantment kind of decks in the format. I think they're incredibly powerful. And the Jukai Naturalist on turn 2 to let you start spamming everything out a turn early is just a pretty absurdly strong card for that archetype. So I'm going to take Naturalist here, mainly over Dockside Chef. I think that's my second best or second favorite card of the pack, with Ryu as third place for me. So we'll take Naturalist and see what we get in pack 1, pick number 2. Not a ton of cards that I consider super valuable to be like pick 2 worthy out of this pack, but I think Tales of Master Sashiro is a super fine follow-up to the Naturalist. Being able to play this for only 4 mana is excellent if you have the Naturalist on board, and it gives you a really good creature to put the counters on. If you put the counters on a lifelinker, you're getting a pretty large swing in life totals, so I do like Tales of Master Sashiro as the top end in a Jukai Naturalist deck, so I think that's the best card for me personally here. Safekeeping is pretty great as well, though, just great way to protect your large green threats, or just any of your cards at any point in the game. So safekeeping plays really well, but I think you can usually pick them up later, at least in Premier drafts. Shrine Steward's solid once you have a couple auras or shrines, but I wouldn't take it until we have some. Completion's okay removal in blue. Guidebot's fine, but a bit slow. Bunch of okay stuff in the pack. Nothing stands out as much stronger than anything else, so we'll just go with Tales of Master Sashiro, since it synergizes the best with our first pick. Pack 1, pick 3 has some incredibly high quality cards. There's an Imperial Oath in white, arguably white's best common, completely takes over the game on turn 6. You play a card that can often trade into 2 or 3 of their creatures, and scries 3 to set up your future draws. Completely stabilizes your board state. There's also Okiba Reckoner Raid, which is a busted aggro card, 1 mana to drain your opponent for 2 life and get a 2/2 menace over time, and a Gloom Shrieker, which is a really good 2-for-1 value play for the green-black decks. The green decks in this format can do quite a bit of splashing, so we definitely could take Gloom Shrieker and potentially do green, white, and black all in one deck, but I think I'm just going to roll with the Imperial Oath here. Just a phenomenal card for any white deck in the format. Really, really overperforms. It does so much more than it looks like it does, and I'm happy to stick to what we've got here and take the Oath. These are all pretty comparable in power. I think all 3 of these are fantastic cards. This is overall just a great pack. Pack 1, pick 4. Good lord, this draft pod is loaded with incredible commons and uncommons, because pick 4 we see another Okiba Reckoner Raid, but we also see a Moon Snare Specialist, which is a premium ninjutsu card for blue-black ninjas, Intercessor's Arrest, which is a very good removal spell in white, and Circuit Mender, that's a super flexible card that fits into pretty much anything. Now, green-white actually gets a bit less value from this card than basically any other archetype. Ninjutsu can put it back into their hand, and the sacrifice decks can sacrifice it for value, but it's still always going to be good and makes the cut no matter what you're doing. So I'm going to take Circuit Mender, I think, here. Intercessor's Arrest is quite close, and then Okiba Reckoner Raid is, in my opinion, maybe a bit stronger than these two, but we're not really an Okiba Reckoner Raid style deck, it looks like. It does pain me on the inside to be passing Reckoner Raids because the card is really, really strong aggressively, but I'm going to take the Circuit Mender here. No matter what happens in the draft, we get to play this card. And there's a third Okiba Reckoner Raid in a row, pack 1, pick 5. That is the thing that I do really hate about quick drafts, is that sometimes the bots really just value cards quite differently than you. I think it would be a very rare occasion in a Premier draft where I would be past this many Reckoner Raids in a row. But if I were in a Premier draft, I would know with 100% certainty that I could take this Okiba Reckoner Raid And then in pack 3, because I'd be getting passed by the same players in pack 3, I'd be getting a bunch of other powerful black cards. Because in a human draft, there are very few players who would be passing this many copies if they were trying to play black themselves. So I would take that as a massive signal for black and start heading in that direction. Now I did pass a bunch of Reckoner Raids to the left, so I'm not likely to get a bunch of good black cards in pack 2, but there's really nothing good in green or white here, Bear of Memory being the best card, which is just fine. So I think I'm still going to play it like I would in a Premier Draft and take this Reckoner Raid, but sometimes the bots are just completely nuts, and this doesn't even necessarily mean I'm going to get black cards in pack 3. Black might not even be open. They might just value Okiba Reckoner Raid way too low. Alright, pack 1, pick 6, we get a Spirited Companion in white now. Phenomenal card, great for enchantment decks, great for ninjutsu stuff. So many good ways to use the card and get its enter the battlefield effect to happen more than once. But even if it happens just once, it's a great little value play, so I'll pretty easily take the Spirited Companion here. Again, we're more than likely green-white, but we didn't really miss out on anything to speculate on that Okiba Reckoner Raid last pack. We only missed out on a bear, which is fine, like late-game filler, but it's certainly no Spirited Companion, which is an excellent, excellent addition to the deck. And yeah, here's where speculating on black might have paid off a little bit, because that's another Okiba Reckoner Raid pick 7, which means if all of the bots have lost their collected mines, we might be able to wheel a couple Reckoner Raids and just start with like 4 Reckoner Raids out of pack 1. For literally any black deck in the format, I would be happy with 2 Reckoner Raids out of pack 1, and I would see that as a great reason to be in black. So even if that doesn't happen, I think the Reckoner Raid is huge here. Selfless Samurai is pretty good as well. Does some pretty good work for 2 mana, but it just doesn't match Okiba Reckoner Raid in raw efficiency. And that's a pretty big reason to stay speculating on black. If I see one pick 5 into another one pick 7 now, after seeing the pick 2, pick 3, all those other Reckoner Raids, so I'm taking this one here. For pick 8 now, I think I'm going to scoop up a Harmonious Emergence. I'm pretty much never unhappy to have these at the top end of my curve. 5 mana, 4/5s with Vigilance and Haste. A really, really nice body there for the mana cost. Cultivation's also solid if you are a more rampy deck with a bunch of good late game, which usually you are in green, so Cultivation's solid to spit out that little 1/1 human monk. But I like Harmonious Emergence a little better. Maybe I'm a bit high on the card, but the other thing I like about it is if you can pick up some late Shrine Stewards, they make your Shrine Stewards a little better as well, where they might be able to pull out an aura that's a removal spell, or a shrine creature, or an aura like Harmonious Emergence that's a creature as well, so I'll take the Harmonious Emergence there. Pack 1, pick 9, we'll scoop up a Bamboo Grove Archer, which is an excellent early game blocker for the green-white decks. Gives you the time to get to your big, powerful late game enchantments. For pack 1, pick 10, we could now take a Shrine Steward to go with the Harmonious Emergence, but we're pretty deep into green, and Tamiyo Safekeeping is an excellent protection spell in the color, so I'll take that instead. And these last couple packs were where we were seeing the early copies of Okiba Reckoner Raid, so they didn't wheel. Someone did finally take them, but I think they probably went a lot later than they should have, like the pick 7 Reckoner Raid that we got there. We'll take a Commune with Spirits now. It is looking like a draft pod where we are going to get tied into green-white. However, here's a Scoured Barons, and we're taking it over not much. Favor of Jukai is an okay combat trick. The decoy is incredibly filler in green-white. So we'll just take the white-black land. That could help us splash in some stuff. I don't really want to splash in Okiba Reckoner Raid because I'd far prefer to be playing them turn 1 than like turn 7 after I've drawn my black source. But if something weird happens here, we could be like green-black splash the white instead, because Imperial Oath is a very splashable card. And we did get a pick 14 Shrine Steward, which is going to make our Harmonious Emergence better. That's a pretty sweet one. Nice pickup, pick 14. And see what we open up in pack 2. Well, there are 3 cards in this pack that are miles ahead of the rest, and 2 of them are in black. Could be a reason to hop into green-black as the core with our 2 copies of Okiba Reckoner Raid. We did open up a Twin-Shot Sniper in red. I think that's one of the 3 strongest cards in the pack, being a creature and a removal spell all in one. But there's also Life of Toshiro Umezawa, the phenomenal flexible saga that could end up being a removal spell or 2 and a 2/3, or it could just do a bunch of extra damage with the +2/+2 and become a 2/3, or it can give us a lot of breathing room against aggro by gaining us 4 life, and becoming a 2/3. This card's a phenomenal flexible saga spell, and I really, really enjoy it. But then there's also Blade of the Oni, which is just straight up powerful. It's not the most flexible thing in the universe. It's just a 2-mana 3/1 menace aggro card that starts turning things into 5/5 menace aggro threats later. It's just a very big, very strong beat stick, basically. I think Life of Toshiro Umezawa is going to be a tiny bit stronger for our deck, because we are heavy enough into green that we're almost definitely green and whatever the secondary color is, and green-black tends to be really good at grinding out a long game and focused very heavily on enchantments, rather than being a deck that is super aggressive or gets any value from having artifacts specifically. So I'm going to take Life of Toshiro Umezawa over Blade of the Oni, but it's incredibly close between those two, and I'm not even considering the Sniper because we are 2 cards deep into black and no cards deep into red. So I'm going to take Life of Toshiro Umezawa over the very powerful Mythic Rare Equipment Demon, and we're going to run with it. For pack 2, pick 2, we have a choice between Lethal Exploit and Dockside Chef, which is really close again. I don't really have any removal yet, so I'm actually tempted to take the Exploit. I think Dockside Chef in a vacuum is a much better card, but green-black isn't an archetype that's going to spit out a lot of particularly expendable creatures, although Circuit Mender is a good start to that. We could sack the Circuit Mender and draw 2, but still, well, Lethal Exploit's also a lot more likely to wheel, being a common instead of the uncommon. It's super, super close. Also, the fact that Dockside Chef's an enchantment is kind of helpful. I think Lethal Exploit probably more of what we're looking for in green-black, because we're just not going to have a lot of expendable creatures. But at the same time, I really like Dockside Chef with Circuit Mender. And we could start picking up some of the 3-mana 1/1s that spit out a 1/1 Spirit. Yeah, we're early enough in the draft. We can draft around the Dockside Chef a bit. So I'm still going to take it over Lethal Exploit, just because I think it does get the edge, raw power level-wise. Well, there's a whole lot of nothing in green or black out of this pack, so now we speculate on another white card and take Era of Enlightenment as quite a valuable saga, I suppose. None of those green or black cards would make the cut in this deck, in my opinion. Now we have Spirited Companion versus Intercessor's Arrest. Spirited Companion is just so good, I'm going to take it over Arrest here. Again, no black, no green. Now we have Greater Tanuki as the only green card, but it's a solid one here, because if we splash one of these colors and become some kind of 3-color monstrosity, it'll be helpful. That being said, Kami of Terrible Secrets is exactly what you want in black-white, because that's a deck that wants to have artifacts and enchantments in the deck. It's going to be a very good 4-mana value play, a 3/4 that gains a life and draws a card, if you have an artifact and enchantment on board. If we cut green out, deck does look really reasonable. We already have 2 artifacts towards that theme, and we can pick up some more. We've got an empty 4-mana slot for the black-white deck. I'm not committing to black-white, because I still have a lot of good green cards too. So we're going to be some combination of these colors, but I do like taking Kami of Terrible Secrets, because the upside, if we do end up in specifically just black-white, is really high. I think the card's going to be great in that deck. All right, pack 2, pick 6, another Spirited Companion. They are just handing these out like candy. Thank you to the bots. Now we have a Network Terminal for splashing or a Golden Tail Disciple. I'm just going to take the Disciple. Dokuchi Shadow Walker is really good with the 3 Spirited Companions. If we can return that to hand and replay it, we're going to get good value. We also get great value returning sagas, like Life of Toshiro Umezawa and Okiba Reckoner raids, so Dokuchi Shadow Walker seems good in black-white. That being said, now, because we've seen very little green out of this pack, now that I am pushing more towards black-white, if I am fully the black-white deck, and I guess this is true of our deck no matter what, we don't exactly have any removal spells in green. I have like straight up no removal. I guess I have Life of Toshiro Umezawa, which sort of counts, but maybe I need to take Wanderer's Intervention over Shadow Walker. I'm like a little sad about that, but kind of feel like I probably do need to take Intervention here. Actually get 1 removal spell at least. So yeah, we'll slap that in there. Here's a Searchlight Companion for another artifact. This is really good for this deck because it's another artifact for cards like Kami of Terrible Secrets. It's great with any ninjutsu cards we manage to pick up, and It's going to give us an expendable spirit for the dockside chef, so Searchlight Companion is exactly what we wanted to see. It is a pick 9 geothermal commie. That is the first great green card we've seen in a while. Nothing here. I'll take Grafted Growth in case we're 3 colors since it is technically fixing. Now, not a big fan of Brute Suit, but it is mildly playable with like 3 Spirited Companions that can all crew it. Really rather not be there though. Rather not be on Iron Apprentice either. I already have 3 good 3-mana cards, so I really need another Golden Tail Disciple. It's just fine in black-white, it's not great. Yeah, I'm just going to take another artifact. Here, I'll grab the Iron Apprentice. I'd much rather have like the flying vehicle than the Brute Suit, I think. If I end up playing some vehicles to add to the artifact count and get crewed by the companions. We'll take a network terminal here. I'm not a huge fan of the light the way combat trick. Really late Harmonious Emergence, at least, in green. Alright. Pack 3. Pick 1. We have 3 major options. I guess we actually have a lot. We have like 4 things we could take. Clawing Torment for removal on the aggressive. Osage Reaches Skyward if I still want to be dancing around with green. Nezumi Prowler for a ninjutsu card. And Twisted Embrace for a consistent removal spell that can hit pretty much anything. I'm just going to go with the Twisted Embrace here. I think I'm pretty locked in on black-white at this point, but Boseiju would have been great if we stuck to green-white. But I'm pretty happy with the way that our deck is shaping up in the black-white color pair, and Twisted Embrace is really good with Shrine Steward as well. Pull out the Twisted Embrace as a removal spell. Finally give that something to tutor up, which could be excellent. Take our 4th copy of Spirited Companion and maybe wheel the Dragonfly suit to go with it. Could be okay. Now we'll take an Intercessor's Arrest. This is another removal spell we can find off the Shrine Steward, which is great. Dokuchi Silencer would be fine in this deck, but I think I'm a bigger fan of Arrest here. Just take a straight removal spell for now, again, because that's what we really need right now. Grab the 3rd copy of Okiba Reckoner Raid. Don't mind if I do. Gloomlighter is also fine, or Gravelighter, but Okiba Reckoner Raid is absurd. We've now got a Clawing Torment for an aggro removal spell. I think I'd rather have that than Wanderer's Intervention here. It's another card I can grab a Shrine Steward as well. For pick 6, Sunblade Samurai is fine. Just a 5-mana 4/4 Vigilance, or if we have it early game and we don't have enough mana, we can use it to grab another Plains. Fine, flexible card. Could take another Shrine Steward in the deck. We have 3 different removal spell auras in here. And I'm definitely not going to play Scrounger, Shakedown, or Bronze Cudgels. Don't think I'll play double Shrine Steward, but again, it's more likely than the alternative. And pack 3, pick 8, we get our choice of a 5th Spirited Companion, or a Mukatai Ambusher to ninjutsu them back to our hand. That would be our first ninjutsu card. I think I'd rather take our first ninjutsu card than our 5th companion. And I'd rather have our first ninjutsu card than our 5th removal spell also, so we'll take the Mukatai Ambusher there. Another Searchlight Companion or another Clawing Torment feels pretty good, either of those really. Go for another Clawing Torment again with double Shrine Steward, it feels nice. Nothing I'll play here. Another Mukatai Ambusher, that helps the deck a lot. Another Iron Apprentice is fine. Slap some stuff into the sideboard, and we've got a deck on our hands. So here's everything that we've drafted that we had left in the deck for now. So we do need to cut 4 cards. Deck feels aggressive enough, especially with a Sunblade Samurai that can grab a land, to drop at least 1 land. I think I'm going to cut 2, drop to a 15 lander here. Bit awkward with a 6 drop like Oath, but outside of that, I think the deck is really aggressive for a low land count. The Spirited Companions help as well. 4 cards in our deck that, as long as we have 2 lands, are going to draw us another card, which gives us more opportunities to see the next land, as is Era of Enlightenment with the Scry 2. We currently have 16 creatures and 5 sagas, which is like a 21 creature deck, so I think we're just cutting 2 creatures / sagas here. And honestly, the only thing that I ended up getting that cares about having artifacts on board is the Kami of Terrible Secrets, so I think it'd be pretty fair to cut like 1 Shrine Steward, 1 Iron Apprentice, just some of the weakest artifact creatures. We only ended up with the one card that cares about having both an artifact and enchantment on board, and that is the Kami of Terrible Secrets. So I think it would be pretty fair to just cut our two weakest artifact creatures, just one Iron Apprentice, one Shrine Steward. Or we could just cut both. I still have 4 1-mana plays without double Iron Apprentice. I don't think I need double Shrine Steward though. We'll go 1 and 1. Cut one of each and call it a deck there. Alright, here is a look at the complete deck list for today. We started in green-white enchantments, kind of got pushed towards black with a bunch of Okiba Reckoner Raids just flying around the draft pod. If I was in black from the start, this would have been like a 6 Okiba Reckoner Raid deck, which would have been absolutely absurd, but it still looks quite good. We've got a nice aggressive curve of sagas that do a ton of damage, as well as some nice cheap aggro dorks. We've got a bunch of Spirited Companions to make sure that we keep hitting gas, we keep drawing extra cards, so we can keep slamming down more creatures and sagas and dealing extra damage. Most of our creatures are pretty small, but we're going to hit a lot of them very quickly and just keep dumping them onto the board to stay aggressive. And then we'll use spells like Twisted Embrace, Intercessor's Arrest, Double Clawing Torment to keep things out of the way and keep whittling down our opponent's life total. So really nice, quick, aggressive curve with tons of card draw to never really run out of stuff to do. Seems like a very nice archetype, very nice deck today. Without further ado, let's get into the gameplay and see how it does. Here we are in game 1, and we are on the draw. Pretty solid hand here. We can curve out 2, 3, and 4 mana cards. Won't be getting the ninjutsu value off the ambusher, but we can play cards all the way up the curve. We hit a bunch of mana, we get to Oath late game, which is always huge. Pretty into the hand. Definitely not worth a mulligan. Now we've drawn a Spirited Companion, so I would rather start with Spirited Companion than Life of Toshiro Umezawa. As if possible, I try to hold off on this till I know I can kill at least one thing, or at least get extra damage in off the +2/+2 ability. Because Life of Toshiro Umezawa has enough flexible, powerful abilities that it is a card we can absolutely hold until later in the game. So we'll just play the Spirited Companion for now. Our opponent has started things off with an Inkrise Infiltrator. Nice 1/2 flyer. They can buff it up for 4 mana to give it +2/+2. But for now it's just going to hit us for 1. Could Clawing Torment that pretty early since we did draw into that, but they draw into any ninjutsu. That card, that mechanic in general is pretty good against the Clawing Torment. They're stuck on 2 mana here. They don't play anything else. Interesting. I think I'll just chip in with the Companion and just play a Disciple then. If they still don't play another blocker next turn, I'll probably ninjutsu back the Spirited Companion and replay it to draw another card. We'll just be going to Value Town while they're waiting to hit their lands. Alright, they auto-pass through the turn. Probably just got stuck on mana and left to do something else. Well, I'm not going to be able to ninjutsu the Companion back anymore, so instead I think I'll play the Scoured Baron and arrest the Infiltrator for now. Chip in for 3 and pass the turn. That'll make it so that I can ninjutsu with Companion next turn. Even if they play another creature, I can Clawing Torment the next creature and ninjutsu Ambusher, because we will have 2 sources of black mana. That was the big bottleneck there that turn. If I had double black, the turn would have been a lot easier. I could have played Clawing Torment and ninjutsu'd still, but with only 1 black source, I could only play 1 spell that turn. We either arrest or play one of our black spells. But now we've got the double black set up. Alright, looks like Tony has left the game. Tony Stark could not beat me in a cave with a box of scraps. So we will move on to game 2 now, where maybe our opponent will not get mana screwed, and we might have a real game of Magic. Alright, here we are for game 2. Opponent is on the play. We've got a turn 1 Dockside Chef into a turn 2 Era of Enlightenment to set things up. Our opponent has that beautiful turn 1 Okiba Reckoner raid. I love doing that. Now with Scoured Barons, it is going to be another mirror match. 2 black-white mirror matches in a row now. Let's chip in for 1 damage. And set up our scrying, and our life gain, and our potential 2/2. With a Twisted Embrace in hand, I definitely want to find 4 mana. I even have a 5-drop Sunblade Samurai, so we will keep the land. I think I'd rather draw the Ambusher first, because I can play the Plains next turn and still have the option between Ambusher or Arrest. If I draw the Swamp first, that's not going to give me any more options. I can just play Arrest or Clawing Torment, and that's it. I could already choose to do one of those. So yeah, we'll go Ambusher first, and then the Swamp. Pretty unlikely we do use the Ambusher immediately, but I do think it's a fine draw. Alright, I don't want to Clawing Torment a Nezumi Road Captain, because that's a really easy card to ninjutsu back to hand. I could arrest it though, because I have a Twisted Embrace in the hand still, so that seems fine. I still have Clawing Torment and Twisted Embrace for bigger, scarier creatures. Life of Toshiro Umezawa is the play from our opponent. They're just going to get to gain 4, since we don't have a 1 toughness creature out. Or they're just going to Clawing Torment. Oh, double Life of Toshiro Umezawa. Good lord, that is some high card quality. Quick drafts are... Everyone just has unreasonable decks. These cards are... Or these decks are far better than you would get in pretty much any player draft pod. I could Twisted Embrace the Hand of Enlightenment just to make sure they can't kill it off of the double Life of Toshiro Umezawa. Really rather not, though. I guess it keeps a 3/3 on the board. Can't play the Ambusher this turn. I'm playing straight up nothing if I don't Twisted Embrace. Because I'm not putting an Ambusher on this board and letting them kill that. I mean, I guess I could. Yeah, it's not that much worse for me if they kill an Ambusher instead of a Hand of Enlightenment. Let's just put it out. They can only kill one of these. This way I'm still doing something with my mana. Alright, they're going to kill the Lifelinker. That's fine, because a 3/3 first strike should attack in really, really well if they don't have more removal. Put a counter on it. Alright, Gravelighter just draws them a card. There's a Virus Beetle that's annoyingly good right now. Kind of want to discard Clawing Torment since they are a black deck. They could have plenty of black ninjutsu cards like Mukotai Ambusher. And ninjutsu plays really well against Clawing Torment. At the same time, the Samurai doesn't really do much. I guess just a 4/4 Vigilance is big enough to win a game against a bunch of 2/3s. Not single-handedly, because they could double block with 2/2/3s, but it can stop them from attacking completely. I think I'm going to get rid of Clawing Torment. Again, just because it plays really poorly if they have any ninjutsu cards in their hand. So let's be mana efficient, drop our 4/4 Vigilance, pass the turn, take 2 damage from this flyer, and then we'll probably have to Twisted Embrace the flyer. Yikes. There's the Twisted Embrace of their own to kill the Sunblade Samurai. Okiba Reckoner is the draw. I do have the mana to play that and the Embrace. So we'll do it. Another twist. Yeah, this is just the mirror match, but we are just out card quality. Double Life of Toshiro Umezawa was a pretty big swinger of this game, letting them get multiple 2-for-1s. Right, they killed our chef and our ambusher, and they have 2/2/3s. But multiple Twisted Embraces was obviously also great here to get my blockers out of the way. They just have not played a single card that is remotely close to filler. Every card they played is like pack 1, pick 1-able. I have pack 1, pick 1 to Virus Beetle. I have pack 1, pick 1 to Circuit Mender. Pack 1, pick 1 to Twisted Embrace. Their deck is just next level. Incredible draft pod for them. Life of Toshiro Umezawa is okay here, but I don't think it's enough at this point in the game. Yeah, they have 3 4s and 2 3s. I just can't block those well enough. Yeah, we're dead. Not literally, but soon. Another land is gonna be the nail in the coffin. Because now I have nothing to play to block or kill anything. So I have to just trump. I could go to 1, but then I'm dead to Reckoner Raid ETB. At that point I'm dead regardless. If I wait a turn I can block with a 2/3 and a 1/1 to at least kill the Circuit Mender. We found one! We found one filler card. Papercraft Decoy is a pretty big dud. It's good at this point in the game, but early on, it's usually not great. So we're dead. I can gain 1 life, and then I go block, block, take 2. Yeah. Super dead. Super dead, and I have been filled with envy from the quality of cards they managed to scoop up out of their draft pod there. 1-1 as we head into game 3. Here we are for game 3. This hand needs to hit a swamp pretty badly. Draws another card off Companion, which can help hit the 3rd land for the Searchlight Companion. We are on the draw here. I'm going to keep this one. We can also guarantee the 3rd land for Companion off of the Sunblade Samurai. We've got some... Ooh. Never punished. That was a huge reward there. He's hitting swamp immediately. Now the hand's incredible. But I was going to say, we've got a very solid lineup of just powerful things to do throughout the game. Yeah, we'll drop the Companion turn 2. I could go Reckoner Raid Iron Apprentice. Also be solid. Life of Toshiro Umezawa for 1 mana off of Jukai Naturalist. Big yikes. That's pretty good. Alright, Grafted Growth, setting up some mana fixing. Zumi Captain's on the board. Let's drop a Reckoner Raid and an Era of Enlightenment. I don't think I want the 5th land badly enough to pick up Samurai over Ambusher. I think Ambusher's pretty good with Companion and the Road Captains that we have. Yep, Life of Toshiro Umezawa for the +2/+2 on the life linker to get a huge life point swing in. And the Harmonious Emergence to hit for 9. The one thing that we didn't have in our hand was removal, and this might be a game that we just lose without removal. Play Companion and Iron Apprentice here. Sure. We are cluttering up the board state, and their creatures aren't that big without the buff from Life of Toshiro Umezawa. Can block with the Apprentice without losing any of the power and toughness from my board. Although it's only 7 anyway, I go down to 7 life if I take it, but I can have so many blockers after this turn. Greater Tanuki, 6/5. Well, gotta be on blocks here. Desperately looking for removal. Oh, nice. The one-sided board wipe style removal of Spinning Wheel Kick. Pretty good magic card. And I guess I'm very dead. Could sack my entire board pretty much. 3/5 of it. Yeah, we've got no outs here. I'm just gonna move on. Sack 3/5 of my board. Draw into Twisted Embrace. I kill Tanuki and then just die to the rest anyway. And that's the best draw in our whole deck. So 1 and 2 it is. Moving into game 4. Here we are for game 4. We've got Chef into Companion into potentially Circuit Mender. 2 removal spells. Really nice hand and a definite keep. Drawn to another Spirited Companion. Playing against blue-black, they start with a Goshintai of Lost Wisdom. On to a Life of Toshiro Umezawa, and this hand is just straight gas. We do want to hit another land, but we've got multiple pieces of card draw to help get there. Clawing Torment on the Goshintai of Lost Wisdom would be really nice if they weren't blue-black. Again, blue-black can just ninjutsu it back to their hand. Because it is not a defender, it can make attacks. They are going to mill us. They mill a non-land and we still don't draw another land. Alright, let's drop the Spirited Companion and see if we can get there. Nope. Alright. Well, we passed through our turn then. Dokuchi's Silencer is going to get ninjutsu'd out. It's us for 3. And they'll recast the Goshintai. Mill us 1 again. Mill a land, but we still draw a land, which is good. We probably want to try to Wanderer's Intervention, the Goshintai of Lost Wisdom. I mean, they're not going to mill me out very quickly, but it is their only flyer for ninjutsu. I don't think I want to do it badly enough to not just Circuit Mender for now. Pink Rise Infiltrator. Now we're really looking for another swamp. So I could Twisted Embrace. Because the Infiltrator, if they hold the mana up, I can't Wanderer's Intervention it. I guess they'd need 8 mana, though, to stop me from doing that. But yeah, we probably have to Wanderer's Intervention the Infiltrator now. And if I find the mana for Twisted Embrace, we could Twisted Embrace the Fur Master, which would make the Silencer small enough to die to Life of Toshiro Umezawa. Yeah, let's drop the Spirited Companion, looking for another swamp. We do find it. So I can't Twisted Embrace right now, but I can do it next turn. Actually, Clawing Torment on Silver for Master is actually really good. It's basically just going to kill it. We'll have to just use it as removal. Because I can't let it through or they'll just ninjutsu it back to hand, but I can certainly just block and kill it. Alright. Hit us for 4 with the Inkrise Infiltrator. Mill us with the Goshintai. Cool. I guess the issue with this is they still get the +1/+1 on the rest of their board, but not that big of a deal if I just kill the 1 flyer. Yeah, let's kill the Infiltrator with the Twisted Embrace instead then. Now one of these gets in for 2 every turn. Got all the blockers we need. They're going to keep losing a life. Unless they let us kill the Silver Fur Master. They draw into a Dockside Chef. They are going to sack the Master to draw a card. Now Life of Toshiro Umezawa is very active, and I can play that and hold up Wanderer's Intervention or Ambusher. Definitely going to drop this pre-combat to kill the Silencer. Yep, draw the card off the Dockside Chef. Send in the 2 power creatures again. Could let them kill 1 Spirited Companion to ninjutsu another. Yeah, that's fine. Now I could Wanderer's Intervention one of these. Instead, though. 18 cards in the deck. Got a lot of card draw in here, which is a little sketchy, but I think I would rather Intervention the Chef and just believe that I can outrace the mill. Keep a Recognerate is fine. Network Disruptor is fine. Oh, it's actually really good for us because I don't think the Life of Toshiro Umezawa is on Chapter 2 yet. No, it's on Chapter 1. So we'll just -1/-1 the Disruptor. Shut off the Goshintai even to hit with everybody. Yeah, they just scoop them up there. Alright, that should be 2-2 now as we move into game number 5. Alright, here we are for game 5. On the draw again. Double Spirited Companion to keep us fueled here. Shrine Steward in the late game. Inkrise Infiltrator. Don't think I'm tormenting it again, because all we know is that they're playing black, which is a ninjutsu color. Can make the Clawing Torment worse. Black-green. Okay, so they're not likely to have that much ninjutsu. Just the black cards. I'd still rather Companion than Torment right now, though. I need to hit my lands. Dig for them. Companion does find one. I'm pretty okay tormenting now. Shuts it off for a little while, even if they do end up ninjutsuing it later. They just immediately have the Shadow Walker. Yeah, that's a bummer. Well, what can you do? I'm gonna gain some life here. Should make racing pretty easy. And I'll still have all the removal I can use to kill those. Especially because I have a Life of Toshiro Umezawa coming up that I can buff the lifelinker with. It'd be really, really good to just stay fueled right now. Keep setting up for like just casting 2 spells in 1 turn later. There's the Inkrise Infiltrator. And a Leech Gauntlet. That's annoying. Is that obnoxious enough to just kill that? I feel like it is. So rest the Gauntlet, shut off their life gain. Drop Life of Toshiro. Speed up ours. Kill one of our companions here, take 6. Cash it in for some extra damage. Probably would have been better to just not attack with the companions. But I was just playing quick there, slamming the all attack button. Twisted Embrace. Very good magic card. Going to kill our lifelinker and hit us for 7 now. We're down to 10. I think I'm trying to outrace with Shrine Steward into Clawing Torment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Buff, that's 6, 7. Buff again, that's 8, 9. And I can chump block with Shrine Steward as well. I'm going for it. I'm going ham. It's gonna be huge damage. Alright, let's see if they can find lethal. Otherwise, they're down to 4. Chump block it, we're down to 3. Or chump block it, and then they're down to 3. Not us, we won't be down to 3. Then I have a piece of life gain, I've got another removal spell. And we just keep chump blocking this Shadow Walker to stop them from ninjutsuing it. We can drain them out there. Gravelighter have... Oh, they just draw a card because something died this turn. I was going to say they sack the Shadow Walker, but I'm like, wait, they can't. Because a creature died this turn, so they just draw a card. Alright, flip the Life of Toshiro Umezawa. Now that I drew a Plains, I have the mana to play Searchlight Companion and Twisted Embrace to put them down to 2. We've got an instant of some kind here, constantly thinking. Hopefully it's not something that can kill Spirited Companion in response to this. Is it the safekeeping? That's really, really good. Because of the life gain. The life gain's actually monumental to how this game is going to conclude. That could have saved their life there. They might win the race off safekeeping. We'll find out. It's going to be a really close one. So we're at 8, they're at 5. We've got Trump set up to keep draining them with the Shadow Walker, but we don't have any removal anymore to get through with any creatures, so it would take 5 turns of survival to kill them. And I'd have to chump block Shadow Walker each one of those turns to guarantee they can't ninjutsu it back. And if they just ninjutsu Gravelighter, they could replay the Gravelighter to try to sacrifice their Shadow Walker. There's a lot of things that could go wrong here. That safekeeping was massive. Twisted Embrace. Blow up our 2/3. If I top deck one of my 3 Okiba Reckoner raids, they're dead. Because I'll hit for 4. Do I play to that out? That seems fine. That seems like my biggest out. Imperial Oath is also a huge one. Yeah, I think I just blocked there. So I can crack back for 3. Potentially 4 with Okiba Reckoner Raid. Kami of Terrible Secrets is not Reckoner Raid, but it does gain me life and draw me a card to dig towards it. That's very, very good. Unless they have instant speed removal for Searchlight Companion. And then I'm dead. Because they kill my only flyer and I don't gain a life. We hit another land. Which means I can't afford to attack with Searchlight Companion because I need it to chump block Inkrise Infiltrator if they're going to live another turn. I can attack with Spirited Companion because I can still chump the Shadow Walker with the Kami. Yeah, if they play 1 land, they double buff Infiltrator for lethal. If they have any removal for Companion, they only need to buff it once to kill me. Alright, they play a land. What is the final card in hand? This is my only block that theoretically survives. They don't play a creature. Now, even if they do instant speed removal, Reckoner Raid can win the game. Since we drew that off the top. Assassin's Ink the Companion. But here's Okiba Reckoner Raid to put you to 1. And finish you off with the Clawing Torments. By the skin of our teeth, that game. Good Lord, that was a wild one. That was a really close game there. Absolute nail biter for our 3rd victory, and we're now 3-2, guaranteeing at least an even run out of this deck, which is pretty nice because I like the deck a lot. So hopefully we can keep that, keep the wins coming here, get out of the average, mediocre run territory and up into some greatness. All right, here we are on the play with Apprentice into Double Companion and a Circuit Mender with Mukatai Ambusher to get some tremendous value off of whatever we decide to ninjutsu. That looks pretty good to me. Now we have an Intercessor's Arrest as well as a 3-mana option. Definitely got to play the Companions first rather than ninjutsuing the Ambusher because we got to hit our lands on curve if we can. Leech Gauntlet, what an annoying card. 2/2 lifelinker that can reconfigure. Go Reckoner Raid Companion, pass, and then Arrest. That way I'm still playing card draw this turn, so I'm getting every opportunity I can to draw land number 4 before turn 4. Send in the... What is in your hand? You want to trade into it? Alright. Gotta be some kind of trick here. But getting a trick out of their hand for our 1-drop and 2-drop is fine, especially when both of our 2-drops replace themselves immediately when they hit the board. And they gotta have some kind of thing here. But it does seem like it's a debate. It's a debate whether or not they want to use it. They do want to use it. It's a return to action. Fair enough. So we'll get the return to action out of here, and this Companion's going to be big enough to block the Leech Gauntlet still. Okay, did not hit the 4th land. Can just play a Circuit Mender. That is big enough to hold the Leech Gauntlet off of us. That seems fine. And because we put a counter on the companion, we'd rather not ninjutsu that one or we lose the +1/+1 counter, but I'd still be really happy to ninjutsu a Circuit Mender, because we will draw an additional card off of that if we ninjutsu it, just like we would Spirited Companion. We are against black-white, it is the mirror match. As much as I would like ninjutsuing Circuit Mender, if they attack in, I'm still just slam dunking, auto blocking, trading our card draw creature into whatever their next trick is. Lethal exploit, sure. Clawing Torment is the draw. That's not very good on a Leech Gauntlet. You know, at some point I'm gonna have to bite the bullet and just arrest this thing. But now that my options are removal spells or ninjutsu, might do it now. No, I'm gonna ninjutsu. Get my own annoying lifelink on the board. How do I have so much more life than my opponent? What happened? They've had a lifelinker the whole game. Couldn't have been just Circuit Mender Ambusher. 27? Oh, Nezumi Road Captain as well, draining life. Alright. Yeah, if they have like infinite combat tricks here, that's still fine. We'll just keep trading our cards kind of 1-for-1 into their combat tricks. Trade the Road Captain off this time. Alright. Show me the next one. Oh, they ran out. We actually killed the Leech Gauntlet this time. Then a Kami of Terrible Secrets is the only creature on board. Clawing Torment is really good against that if they don't have an ninjutsu card in their hand. Yeah, I think I'll do that from the Spirited Companion first to see if our draw changes anything. Searchlight Companion? Don't think that changes the play here, because then I don't get to attack them this turn if I play that. It is possible they have an ninjutsu card in hand, because I did block Leech Gauntlet literally every turn. Naomi, Pillar of Order, no artifact or enchantment out, so just a 4/4. And she doesn't do anything unless she's attacking, so I think we'll just arrest her. Ooh, Life of Toshiro Umezawa, that gives me something to play alongside the arrest, which is beautiful. Gain a million, hit for 7. They're down to 7, we're up to 33. They're going to lose a life from Clawing Torment, down to 6. Now a Chain Flail Centipede, so they do have an artifact on the board, but Naomi can't attack, so it doesn't really matter. Wanderer's Intervention. I think I'll just be playing a Sunblade Samurai. I should have attacked with everybody because they're forced into that block. So if they blocked a companion, they would have taken 6. Another Chain Flail Centipede. They can block the 4/4 and take 5. Okay, they can block the 3/2 and take 2. We did hit a land, so they are now just dead because I can Shrine Steward for my second Clawing Torment. And that'll be game. Well, here we are for game number 7 with a hand that shows off exactly why we ended up in the color pair. We've got double Okiba Reckonraid, double Spirited Companion. So we go Reckonraid into Companion into both on turn 3. And that is certainly a way to start a game of Magic. Now that I've drawn an Iron Apprentice, it might be interesting to go Apprentice Reckonraid this turn, but then on turn 3 I have no guarantee I'm spending all 3 mana. I might just be playing another Companion alone. But I do like flipping these Reckoner raids really as quickly as possible. I'm going to go for that. Try to get these things flipped and try to menace my opponent out quickly. They are on green-white. There's a Grafted Growth to buff the Fang of Shigeki, so I can't attack in with Iron Apprentice, but instead they are going to hit me, so I will crack back. You draw a Searchlight Companion. Alright, I'll play that over a Spirited Companion here. It'll use all 3 mana, and then potentially next turn I can play 2 Spirited Companions to use up all 4 mana into Shrine Steward on 5. It also plays to the board a little better, giving us 2 creatures, one of which has flying, instead of just the 1/1/1 for the turn. They set up an Uncharted Haven on green. They have 4 mana up right now. They'll have 5 mana minimum next turn, and if they play another land, they'll have 6 mana out next turn, where they can start playing some very big stuff. So here's a Master's Rebuke to kill our 2/2 Menace. And that is it. They're going to hold up the 2/2. Before I do anything, let's drop a Spirited Companion and see if that changes my mind. Air of Enlightenment. That will change my mind on what I want to do. I'll play an Air of Enlightenment instead of a Spirited Companion, but that is not going to change my attacks. We just send in the Searchlight Companion and drop an Air of Enlightenment and pass. 5th land is not bad at all, but I like Kami a little better first, I think. I guess if I go for the land first, then I'm going to shuffle away the Kami, which I don't want to do. Yeah, I like Kami. We'll go for Kami, play a land next turn, I think. Although it is more card drawn, I don't need to hit Shrine Steward that badly. If I'm drawing a card off Kami and a card off Companion, if I hit a land, I can play Steward. If I don't hit a land, then those are more castable spells, because I have very few cards that cost more than 4 mana. So I'm just going to go for the full gas version. Ooh, Blossom Prancer. Speaking of full gas, Blossom Prancer is an incredible card for stabilizing in these positions. It is a 4/4 reach that also draws another creature or enchantment out of the top 5 cards of their library, or gains them 4 life if they don't have any creatures or enchantments in the top 4, or if they don't want them. Could trade Road Captain into Fang of Shigeki, that would be fine. Definitely need to hold up blockers, cannot let them ninjutsu out the Cap Attack Wrecker, they just get to exile whatever artifact or enchantment they want from my board. Ooh, Clawing Torment's gonna be really big. We get to Clawing Torment the Prancer and then block it with a 3/4. I can't let it just sit there and keep getting attacks because we know they have a ninjutsu card in their hand, so if I let them hit me with whatever I put Clawing Torments on, they can just ninjutsu and get rid of the Torment, as well as another one of my artifacts or enchantments. I'm pretty okay trading Nezumi Road Captain for Fang of Shigeki still, so I'll still send it in here. No blocks, alright, down to 13. Super happy I sent it in then. Imperial Oath. Yeah, that would be quite a large way to stabilize against me, wouldn't it? 2 to the top, 1 to the bottom. They're good cards too. They're keeping them. Well, so much for attacks. I guess I can keep getting Companion and Clawing Torment damage in now. The Searchlight Companion, that is, not the Spirited Companion. Yeah, I think we do that. The next turn they attack with Blossom Prancer, we block with Iron Apprentice to put a counter onto the Searchlight Companion, so we hit them for 2 damage a turn in the sky, and keep the Clawing Tormented Creature on the board. Gotta block everybody so that they can't ninjutsu out the Cap Attack Wrecker. So I'm blocking a 2-2 with a 3-4, another 2-2 with a 2-2 First Strike, their 2-2 Death Touch with 2 1-1s, and the Blossom Prancer with the Iron Apprentice. Yeah, we've got the blocks set up for the current board state. Then I could Shrine Steward out another Clawing Torment. Go for the Clawing Torment race. Seems to be what the Shrine Stewards have been doing in this deck. Constantly tormenting our opponents. Well, obviously I have to block that. See how good their trick is here. Oh, it's a rare trick. Well, it's obviously pretty bad. It's also a flyer to block again. Shit. Kyodai is actually just so horrific. Because now I can't chip in with Searchlight Companion or they hit me with Kyodai, which means they can hit me with Cap Attack Wrecker and give something else indestructible at instant speed, and Kyodai is a whole nightmare and a half. So now I have to Shrine Steward into a removal spell for Kyodai. Yeah, which means I don't get to play that this turn like I could with the Clawing Torment. And then I'll have to chump block Kyodai, or they can just pick it up and use a Cap Attack Wrecker. I'm going to take Twisted Embrace, because even if they manage to get a Cap Attack Wrecker through, they can't exile the Twisted Embrace to save Kyodai. But they could exile an Intercessor's Arrest to save whatever's been arrested later in the game. Kind of like making a creature big enough to block a Samurai without dying. Alright, I'll play a Sunblade Samurai now. I guess I need to Twisted Embrace something to make it big enough to block the 4-4 now. If I make the Kami a 4-5, then we go block there, and I gotta double block there, single block there, yeah. I almost feel like I'd rather make Shrine Steward a 4-3 and just trade there, and go block. I guess it's not great blocks either way. Sure, we'll suit up the Kami then. Okay, so if I let that in, they ninjutsu. If I block it, they stop taking damage, and we're in a top deck war. Go for the chump block to keep the damage going. Because ninjutsu is so horrific for us. Not only do they get to kill the Clawing Torment, they get to exile whatever artifact or enchantment they want with Cap Attack Wrecker, and replay a Blossom Prancer to draw another card, and have a 4-4 reach on board, so we definitely have to just chump Blossom Prancer every time it attacks. Spirited Companion's a beautiful draw. Give us another chump blocker for that. Find a Life of Toshiro Umezawa. Pretty good. Don't think it's better than playing Samurai right now. Alright, they're down to 8. Gonna be a close one. I might end up having to just kill the Blossom Prancer, but I don't think we really win a top deck war without like a Clawing Torment on the board to constantly drain them for life. Geothermal Kami's very nice, gains them more life. Okay, yeah, at this point 11 turns before Clawing Torment kills them. Probably got to kill that Blossom Prancer. What am I doing with Life of Toshiro Umezawa? Make Sunblade Samurai a 6/6 and attack in. They just block with their Samurai and Kami and only lose one creature. What if I make Kami a 6/7? Still only trades into one creature. Yeah, I've got no way to get a good attack in with Life of Toshiro Umezawa. I'll probably just gain life with it. I'm not even excited about that. I don't want to arrest anything on the board right now because none of it's that important. Just trade in the Fang of Shigeki here. Trade into Geothermal Kami. The double block just in case. Alright. Just trade Samurai with each other. Perfectly balanced, as all things should be. I guess if I don't arrest, they can definitely ninjutsu if they attack with everybody. Oh. Had the life total lead all game, but just feels like I've been on the back foot the whole time. The amount of value stuff going on. Yeah, at this point we have to stop edicting ourselves every turn. Another land. Hate this position though. Top deck war against the green-white decks kind of feels not particularly winnable for our deck. Let's see who draws the best. Intervention is okay. Doesn't really change anything right now, so we're just passing. We are going to mill out first, that's the other problem. Imperial Oath is just incredible against our deck. Just slamming out a wide board state, and then we're just like, well, got a couple flyers, but they're gone already. I think I only have the one flyer, the Searchlight Companion. Yeah. The board gets stalled like this, our win con's Clawing Torment, and that's about it. I do have another Clawing Torment in my deck. If I could get my next Clawing Torment, I can put it on the Kappa Tech Wrecker and try to win off of that. Because I can block a 0/2 with a 1/1 forever and not lose creatures every time I do that. So that's our biggest win condition. It's our second Clawing Torment. Our own Imperial Oath would be pretty good as well. Probably our second best draw. Probably our number 1 draw is Clawing Torment, number 2 is Imperial Oath. Also, they don't have a ninjutsu card revealed anymore, so I could just let whatever has a Clawing Torment on it hit me over and over. I don't even have to block every turn. One more creature than them. If I play Ambusher, I have 2 more. Still don't think I play it yet unless I hit Imperial Oath or something that will change the board state significantly enough to get me to just attack with the whole board. Alright, Spirited Companion. Ooh, find the Clawing Torment. Okay. 11 cards left. Lay out the ambusher here. Now that we've shut off another blocker and started damaging them, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks against 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 attacks. Get in for at least 5 if they don't have an instant. That is very significant. Didn't I want to send in though against, they've got 3 extra cards in their hand. Like, what on earth is in there? Well, that was my one opportunity to attack, and here's another Imperial Oath, so the opportunity has come and gone. Now we're entirely on Cap Attack Wrecker, tormenting them to death. Ninja's Kunai. They can shoot their own Cap Attack Wrecker, so I just lose now. Yeah. I mean, I guess I could have sent in that one turn. We know we would have gotten in for like 5, and then Torment would have put them down to 3. But then they could still just kunai their own tech wrecker and they're fine. Yeah. I could have played this game out differently, but it would not have changed the fact that we would not be killing them right now. Because they could just kunai the wrecker before it kills them. And Blossom Prancer into Geothermal Kami is pretty nasty. They get to pick up the Sunblade Samurai, gain a bunch of life, replay it, have another creature on board. Yeah, this is how I thought the top deck war against the green-white deck would go. We were just lucky enough that they hit nothing early, but yeah, now they just run circles around us. I would have scooped by now if they kunai'd their Cap Attack Wrecker by now, but since they haven't done it yet, maybe they don't see that line, and even if they do see that line, they are allowing it to do a lot of damage to them, which means even if they do kill it later, we're still draining them a bit for now, so that potentially an Oath of our own can somehow get a wide enough board state. Feels pretty impossible at this point, though. We've got 11 creatures to our 9. I guess I would have 1 more creature after an Imperial Oath. 2 more if the Reckoner Raid flips, but no, just 1 more because Era and Reckoner Raid balance out. They're both 1 creature on the board. Okay. I don't have removal left in my deck. Nope. I have 0 removal spells left in the deck, so I'm just going to scoop them up here. They can invoke the Kyodai back on board and put 4+1/+1 counters on it. We'll just die in this guy. And the board state is far too wide. So, really, really long drawn-out game there. Unfortunately, just got ourselves into a top deck war because Imperial Oath is a busted magic card. If it weren't for Imperial Oath, we would have demolished their soul. But that card just completely locks up the board state and digs to whatever you need afterwards. So we got completely hosed by it. And it's just going to be a 4 and 3 run, which I'm perfectly happy with in Premier Draft. But it is a pretty massive bummer in Quick Draft, where we are down 300 gems for that instead of breaking even. Either way, here's a final look at the deck. We'll talk about our over and underperformers a little bit. Iron Apprentice didn't really do anything, so I guess that's an underperformer. Same with Sunblade Samurai. Some of the more mediocre filler cards, but we knew from the get-go that they were some of the more mediocre filler cards. This deck could have used a little bit bigger creatures in the middle here somewhere. I think that Dokuchi Shadowwalker that I passed up on actually would have been pretty sweet. If we could have found just a couple more, like 3/4s, 5/5, something like that later in the game to give us some beef later on, that would have been helpful. It's about the only thing we were really missing. We have solid removal. We have really good cheap cards. Just having a little bit stronger late game would have been nice. And I don't think I drew Imperial one time, so that would make our late game look even weaker than it is, because we just didn't draw the biggest late game card. So, is what it is. 4 and 3, not bad at all. Just some poor rewards for today, unfortunately. Well, that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons very much for supporting the channel, as well as thank you for watching. If you'd like to catch some more videos like this, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you more in your recommended feed. You can check out the Twitch channel, link in the description below, or the Patreon, link in the description below if you're interested in those. Other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.